Hello and welcome. Today I'm in the Tier 7 Japanese destroyer, the Shiratsuyu. And this is a video that shows that she is number 1. So I'm using these modules and commander skills, or at least these are the ones that I recommend, and the Shiratsuyu is a ship that I recommend for using in the upcoming ranked season. At least this is the ship that I will try to play as my main priority. So, I spawned on the seaside, I sailed into the sea cap. She is so good that I essentially just AFK'd the first almost 2 minutes, well 1 minute 40 seconds, by just sailing towards the seaside. The reason why she is going to be very strong for ranked is because of her torpedoes and because of her concealment. You see, she gets 5.8 kilometer concealment and 16 torpedoes that I just used on the Bismarck that are probably all going to miss because she is maneuvering and I did not actually account for that properly. Which is sad. So, I did get the sea cap though, and you notice that I actually went really far into the sea cap. You see, the reason why I could do that is because I have RPF, or radio location as they call it now, which meant that I could tell more or less where the enemy destroyers were, and because I am the tier 7 destroyer with the best concealment, I was fairly certain I was not going to be spotted before I spot them. Because she has 5.8 kilometer concealment, Sims is like 6.7, something like that. But my torpedoes missed, which is very sad. Oh well. Oh well. Better luck next time. I did get my capstone and I am leaving now. Reason why I'm running is because that is a Bismarck and I do have smokescreen. However, the problem with smokescreen is that, well, the Bismarck might very well simply just get close enough and hydro me with, even when I'm inside smoke. I believe this was still during the time when Bismarck had full German hydro, so that would have spotted me from 5.7 kilometers. So, my torpedoes are up in a moment. Unfortunately, this time it's only 8 torpedoes. By the way, I actually checked the numbers, and I am expecting the Bismarck to turn away, or turn closer to me, either of them, and not keep going in a straight line. That is why I didn't aim quite on the predictor line. But I actually count, or average the torpedo numbers out, and you get about as many torpedoes in a 10-minute period as an Akatsuki does, so you do fire quite many torpedoes, and you still have 600 meters better concealment than the Akatsuki does. Okay, I hit the torpedo, and I got the flooding, which is very nice. By the way, one of the strengths of the Japanese destroyers is that they have supposedly a much higher flooding chance than any of the other ones. So right now I'm fairly confused about what my team is doing. Apparently we only have 2 battleships on the seaside. Well, we do have 2 cruisers on at E10, but it's E10. It's the map edge. That doesn't really mean anything. You really don't count those players, as doing things. So the Sims is chasing me. She is much faster than I am, because the Shiratsuyu's weakness is that she only has 35 point something. No, actually it's 34 knot speed. I believe I'm utilizing a flag. So right now, I suppose I'll just try torpedoing this Bismarck, but I'll wait slightly until she comes around the corner. Well, I suppose my torpedoes were on cooldown anyway. You see, what you want to do is, if a ship is going at maximum speed in a straight line, what you want to do is you want one torpedo salvo to be exactly on point and then the other one to be slightly behind. So that if the Bismarck sees those torpedoes, she will start turning in, and then your other torpedoes will still, hit with some of them. And that ends up being fairly useful. Because, well, you should turn in on torpedoes, because it is definitely the right choice. Like, look, that's exactly what's happening. He saw the torpedoes, well, likely saw them, and started turning in, and as a result, he only took 2 of those torpedoes, otherwise he would have taken much more. Okay, so we have taken the A cap. It's fairly secure, considering we had, like, 6 ships coming through it. Well, 5. 6 if you count the carrier. But we don't have any of the other capstones, and we are losing in points. And, well, I do want to go and try to take this B cap, but I am afraid of that cruiser that came along the one that's inside smokescreen there. You see, that should be a Royal Navy light cruiser. And if she suddenly emerges from that smokescreen, that might actually be a Belfast, I believe even. So she might have radar, which makes me want to go closer even less. So I'm gonna just sit here, wait until my torpedoes are up, and then fire these torpedoes into that smoke, because she probably doesn't have much room to maneuver. So the only way those torpedoes will miss is if, you know, I'm just unlucky and the torpedoes just widen enough so that the Belfast gets through. I still believe it is a Belfast. I'm not going to use my torpedo reload consumable, although, you know, in hindsight, because I've already played this match, I would say the correct decision here would have been to use it, because, well, there are cooldowns and we've already spent 7 minutes of this match, so it might become difficult to actually use all of them by the end of the game, and, you know, you might as well try to take every advantage you can as early as possible, to try to snowball it as much as possible. But I figured that I would, at this point while I was playing, I figured that I would, you know, keep it. So I hit one of the torpedoes on the Belfast. I believe it's a Belfast. We'll see in a moment. Yep, it is a Belfast indeed. So, 19,000 HP. If I had used the consumable, I might have got another hit, which would have been fairly helpful, but it is what it is. By the way, if you notice, the torpedoes made the Belfast probably panic, and because of that, she seemed to actually run aground. So, she ran out of the cap zone, and she also ran aground, which kind of puts her in a precarious situation. She has 8.5 kilometer radar, so I am actually, you know, risking quite a bit by going closer, but honestly I do want to go closer. Like, think about this fact. I have 5.8 kilometer concealment, right? Shimakaze has 5.9 or 6. Yet, on a Shimakaze you play with F3s at times, and you still go within, you know, 6-ish kilometers to torpedo them. Yet on a Shiratsuyu I found that or other destroyers where I had 10 kilometer range on those torpedoes, I found that I would just torpedo from long range, and I think one of the strengths of the F3, or rather one of the reasons why the F3 torpedoes gave people so much better results, was not because of the stats of the torpedoes. The reload is nice, however I think that the other stuff is not as important. I was thinking of torpedoing that smokescreen from here to try to maybe hit the Belfast again, but this time she was angled a different way, so if she saw the torpedoes she would accelerate in the same direction as the torpedoes. So one of the reasons why I think the F3s gave people such good results is because, not because that they are so fast, etc. Well, that definitely helps. However, I think one of the biggest reasons is rather that they forced people to go closer, and you are much more likely to hit torpedoes if you launch them at a closer distance. So that probably played a pretty large part in it. It's just that, you know, people might not have noticed it as easily. So those torpedoes were pretty good on the Nagato, and I'll drop these on this Bayern that actually is coming closer. However, because of the angle of that Bayern, it might not be very successful. I didn't really plan on using smoke here, because this kind of gives it away that I might have torpedoed the Bayern, etc. However, I was getting way too close to the Nagato, and I was afraid of being suddenly spotted with all these enemies around. So I almost got that Nagato, not quite though. So I need to finish her off with my guns. 700 HP, come on, goodbye. Alright, I suppose it's time to try shooting the Bayern now. She should get hit by 1 or 2 of those. Oh my god, don't tell me she's gonna dodge. Yep, she just dodged all of those torpedoes. This is what I meant with the angle is bad, because what you ideally want is you want the torpedoes to hit at a near 90-degree angle. She might spot me here for a moment, but I'll tuck behind the smoke screen very soon. Okay, it didn't happen. Good. So you want the angle to be right, because if they are sailing towards you at an angle, they are much more easily able to dodge these torpedoes than if they were going at a 90-degree angle. But it's even easier to dodge if they're sailing away at this kind of an angle. But still, I should be able to torpedo her again in a moment, so it should be good enough, or at least I should try. The good thing about having 10-kilometer torpedoes is that if she is within 6 kilometers, 6-ish kilometers, and I start torpedoing, those torpedoes do have enough range so that even if she turns away and starts sailing away, they should at least somewhat reach or have a chance of reaching. But they'll probably still miss though. It's still a possibility. Okay, so I'm gonna launch only one of those because I don't expect that to work, and I feel that this hipper is coming closer, and this hipper in my opinion is a much better target. Although she is still angled, the thing is that the Byron is sailing away while the hipper is sailing closer. And I think the hipper is going to be a bigger threat soon. I don't want to launch the second one right now yet, because I'm not quite certain if it's worth it. You see, the hipper might just die to other things, but whatever, she's getting way too close. 2000 HP though, so honestly not really worth it. I do fire, and it seems my Byron torpedoes are hitting. Right now I do regret not firing both of those, because that could have been a kill right there. Because I hit 3 of the 4, so if I had launched the second set of 4, that would have been it. So she fired at me, which is why I'm gonna start running. The ship is slow, so she's not very good at dodging, but 9.6 kilometer stealth fire range. Honestly, you know one thing, I take adrenaline rush, right? But I'm thinking that maybe expert marksman is a better decision. You see, expert marksman helps you brawl, or fight other destroyers at closer ranges, and helps you utilize your guns more often anyway. And the thing with adrenaline rush is that they won't be very helpful on the cooldown of the, it doesn't synergize with your consumable. It does synergize with the normal torpedo reload though, so maybe it's alright, but I don't know, I haven't really made the decision. So those torpedoes that I launched on the shores were completely miss, but I'll wait until she turns, or rather I have to wait because of my cooldown. They should be fairly alright though. We are losing, by the way. We don't have the B cap again, so I think I have to go back in that direction to take it. So I fired these torpedoes for 2 reasons. One, because they might actually be somewhere on the path of the Byron. And secondly, they are on the path of the whatever that cruiser was, shores I believe, right? So I used my consumable and I want to fire at the Belfast. However, it's a Belfast and she's turning away, so those torpedoes are likely not going to hit. That's why I switched for the second one, and now I'm gonna go for the B cap. Because, well, my team is going elsewhere, and sorry, the enemy team is going elsewhere, and I believe I should be able to cap it. There shouldn't be too many enemies, maybe 1 destroyer. Like we only have 5 ships, they have 6 ships. And they have 2 cap zones while we only have 1, so I definitely need to try to do things. By the way, the enemy carrier has died. Ours has not though, so ours is fairly good. Well, one of those torpedo cells was completely missed, and the other one I think so too, so that's unfortunate. All of those torpedoes were miss. It's alright though. I could fire my guns here though, but I don't know if it's worth it. You see, the reason why I don't want to fire my guns is it might spot me because of that exact ship. However, now I know she is far away enough, it's alright. And the other reason is that it would have actually given my position away more or less. Although, after firing or taking that random shot at the Sims, it happened anyway. But the enemy should be far away enough from the big cap that I should be able to take it. Maybe the Sims will try to come and interrupt. So that Belfast is coming closer, and I'll torpedo her. I'll wait until my torpedoes are ready and torpedo her, and then I will go back into the cap zone. These are a parting gift, so to say, for the Belfast. I can't really fire. Well, I suppose I could. However, it would spot me or make me visible for them, and I don't really want that. So B cap it is. Hopefully, I'll be able to cap it without much issue. And I'll head towards the C cap. We are behind quite severely in points. There's only 4 minutes left and it's 4 against 6, so we need to do quite a bit. Hopefully these torpedoes also work. You see, it isn't always the easiest thing to try to dodge torpedoes like this, but oh my god, that's incredible. Rest in peace, Belfast. That was very well done by the Ranger. You see, the Ranger saw my torpedoes and dropped from the side, so it gave a cross pattern. That was very well done by the Ranger, and just because of that I complimented him immediately. because that was just really well played, and that was a joy to see. I wish I could see more of that. That was just incredible. Okay, so I got the B cap. Somebody also finished off the Sims, and well, now it's time to try to finish that chores, I suppose. Okay, my cooldown, oh sorry, my cap the base, my torpedoes will reload in a moment, and well, we have to see where this chores is coming. I think this chores will come directly in my direction. Like, right now, the way she is going. So I'm gonna torpedo here more or less. I don't want them to be straight ahead, I want them to be at a slight angle, so there's a slightly higher chance of hitting. Because this time, there is no ranger to take advantage of that. It's a 3 against 4 and we are actually behind in points, but this time we at least are in the lead in the cap zones. Okay, my consumable, torpedo reload consumable should be up. I'm not certain if I want to use it right here because... okay, I used it, but I don't know if it's the best idea here. Okay, this charge got hit and I'll just finish with guns. There's no real reason to utilize my torpedoes for this. Just keep them, and perhaps there is another target. So goodbye chores, and now it's time to go for the sea cap. It's a 3 against 2 and we are in the points lead and we also are in the ship's lead. You see, those two enemies that went deep into our spawn are pretty much... well, they are out of the game. They chased so far that they just can't do anything. Oh well, while using torp reload here was wasteful, it is what it is. Oh, they actually came back, but they aren't probably even going to get into the B cap before the game ends. So the Shiratsuyu is number 1, and there are 16 reasons for it. They are torpedo number 1, torpedo number 2, torpedo number 3, up until torpedo number 16. Yes, that is why Shiratsuyu is number 1. She is just incredible. She has the highest amount of torpedoes available on destroyers, even more than a Shimakaze. Although the torpedoes aren't quite as good as the 12-kilometer ones. And this is the sea cap, and well, this is my 4th solo cap this game. In a ship that has a top speed of 34 knots. Good game. And we almost actually even got 1,000 points anyway. 453,000 credits, only a high caliber, 10,000 or 11,000 experience, 189,000 damage, 29 shell hits, 14 torpedo hits, 2 ships destroyed, 13 floodings, 2 fires, and 4 solo captures. This is going to be a lot of experience. At least I hope so. Team score 2,926 base experience at tier 7. Yeah, that is a very strong result, and that was very, very good for me. Honestly though, I am very impressed by this friendly ranger. He only got 1600 base XP, but honestly that's a large amount for a tier 7 carrier, especially a ranger, because the ranger has pretty much never been a strong ship. At least hasn't been considered one. This guy played really well. But honestly, credit where credit's due, the enemy Gneisenau and Bismarck actually got a lot of experience too, because they lost the game. They would have been at 2000 base XP if they had won. However, my Shiratsuyu is obviously number 1, so she trumped all of them. And this is the damage, 172,000 alpha damage with the torpedoes. 172,000. At tier 7, no less. Oh yeah, and I didn't take a single point of damage. So this does make me wonder, is AR or Adrenaline Rush worth it on the ship? I'm not quite certain. 300,000 profit, which makes sense. But notice the Captain XP, 38,757 Captain XP in this one game. By the way, you'll notice that I don't have a 19-point Captain. That's because I have changed it. I have one now. I'm not actually certain if I have one. I will get it eventually for rank. So anyways, if you enjoyed this video, then like it. If not, then dislike it. And I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. You heard the new patron. Usually I call it out immediately. This time I didn't, so let's do 2 in a row. Thank you very much for your continued support, Anu Clear Sky, and I hope I see you guys next time.